You gonna move? Thank you. All right. We're gonna put in one more hour today. All that's really left to do per se is some detail work. Now, these three guys all have white robes, which I need to address. So they actually don't have brown robes I've been using, treating them as brown, but they're actually not brown. So I need to do a pass on the robes and build them up a little bit. So I'm going to do that first. And then with any time I've got left, I'm going to do some detail work. And that will maybe wrap the project up. That would be really nice. I would leave plenty of hours for the tanks. So yeah.
But I built this thing, I don't know, 3 years ago or so. Maybe longer, maybe less. I have no idea. Which is fine. I just want some videos, so I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. I'm not completely building up something entirely new. But what we have here, down here, is a wooden hutch that I made. It's on a press board, like 1/2 inch, and some other thinner materials. It's kind of hard to get a view of it right there. So I built that thing. And then on top of it, I have a board. Again, just like a 1/2 inch board. And I had to add that because when I did the hutch, I didn't make it low off. Then on top of that, all of this that you're seeing here, this is all makeup storage. This is for nail polish. I did a video on it a long time ago. These are all makeup storage, and this is all supplies. I have them organized by, we've got putty, we've got sanding sticks, we have, this is mostly template stuff. So tape galore, random, those are mostly tweezers and oil pens, and I've got a shitload of brushes, and so on and so forth. And a lot of this stuff, you can get a lot of stuff for makeup. This little, I don't know what an eyeliner holder or something for the brushes, that's something else, that might be office related. Could be makeup. Better view there. Oh, there we go. And in case you're interested, there's the maker of this incredibly powerful light that I bought. And a drum mic stand for the camera. So I'm just going to modify this a little bit. The idea is I want to get this crap off the desk. I want to have more storage so I can just move this stuff. I'll try to make this more video friendly, essentially. So we're going to modify this a little bit. Also, I'm trying to reduce, not expand, reduce the amount of paints that I have available. I'm trying to keep it down to the ones I use most often. I want to get rid of one of these entirely, so I can shrink this down a little bit. And to, I can't reduce this enough to use just 2 of these. So what I got here is I got another one. This is a wall hanging rack that I'm just going to keep right here, which is all cracked up. Thank you, Amazon delivery, but it's good enough. So this is going to be secondary paints. This is also going to be 4 extra paints. See, I even have more over here. These are basically ones that I buy. I know I'm going to need soon or something, but I got paints everywhere. Yeah, this is a whole other supply drawer here for doing all the modeling. So that's going to stay there. But anyway, so we're going to have main usage paints here, secondary usage here. We're going to get some glues and other things are also going to go over there. And then hopefully clear out that drawer down there. I'm just going to start tearing this all apart, which is going to be a god-awful nightmare, and try to rebuild it. And I'll show you what we come up with, well, probably in 24 hours, just to give you a little better view of what's going on here. Already did all the cutting and the painting, and very slowly putting things together. I'm waiting for paint to dry. But this is the hutch, and all I did was I cut off the little edges that I had right here, and I did a horrible, horrible job. Look at that. That is just bloody awful. Nobody needs a table saw on that big thing. Well, maybe, but I don't have one, so there you go. The other thing I did is I added a neoprene sheet on the bottom to act as a base. I had little silicone feet on it initially. They were literally smooshed flat, like so because all the weight. Went with the neoprene sheet to add some little anti-vibration to it, so if I attach cameras or whatnot to this, things don't shake. The mat is just the same one I had before. I just flipped it over. I don't know how gray will work with the cameras, but we will see. At least it's a little bit cleaner. And I think I showed this already, but I started filling this up. And like I said, this is mainly going to be paints that I occasionally use. I took some of the stuff out of drawers and to fill it up here to add a little weight to the bottom. I still got a lot more paint to add to it, I'm sure. These are all my oil paints in bottles, which I think I'm actually going to ditch. I don't use them enough. They can go into the third or the fourth rate paint collection because I have lots and lots of crates of paint. You would not believe so. But that's about it. So I'm just waiting for paint to dry, and then we can start putting this whole thing back together. All right, new desk is complete. Not a huge difference from the old one, but hopefully it'll be a lot more effective for mainly doing the video work. But just to give you an overview here. So we got this container here. I can't remember if I told you everything, but I didn't want to screw into my cabinet, so it's just stuck with poster tack right now. A lot of these are paints, which are not even secondary paints, or like thirdary paints, things that I had in storage before. I keep a little bit more ready here. Cleared out some of the bottles that were hiding there that I tend to forget about, and extra colors, which usually leave in the drawer, and then I forget they're there, and then I buy it again, and so on and so forth. So we're down to main colors are going to be here. These are the ones I use 80, 75% of the time. So we cleared out, took away a whole rack. We got the whole thing lower now, so it's a little bit easier to reach. I'm tall, I could reach how it was before, but this makes it a little bit easier. And I didn't lose any paints, I actually gained more space by adding this, because these are old, I think for I don't know how many paints they hold, but for nail polish, I think these are 72, and this is 120. So, and this is deeper too, so it actually will work more than that. Conveniently, I can put little unfinished miniatures because they're on paint pots. I can put them right in there for storage. The big change is it seems like nothing, but it's actually very important. So I got this piece here, which is thicker. It sticks out more than the one I had before, so it gives me an extra little shelf. And that's important because I can clear things off the desk and just leave them up here. So they're off the desk, out of the way, and they're up here where I can knock them down. So isn't that great? So things are it's not completely dry yet. I should have waited a couple days before putting it together, but you know, it couldn't wait that long. Also, it's gray because I started realizing having all the black, I think, was messing with my eyes a bit. Because having the white tile that's normally here, can I go out any? No, I cannot go out any on the camera. But a lighter color hopefully won't screw up my eyes because I have a white tile or off-white tile and then all the black here. Always got to repaint the cabinets, but since they're out of the way now, I don't think I need to. But I could repaint these at any time. Again, shelf. So I put brushes up there when I don't need to get to those cabinets. That has all the various doodads. They're a little high right now, but luckily I can just pull them up. And so I remember what's in what. Again, big thing about adding this is I can clamp various cameras and mics and whatever to this little shelf. And oh my god, I'm not strong enough to do that in one hand with my left hand. That's the strong claim. Cleared out some stuff here. Mainly what I've stored right here is like to-do projects, which is
so things to never say to an actor. Directing actors is one of the hardest things you can do on a film set because actors, we are all tiny little babies.
Lots of actors are fragile bunnies, myself included sometimes. Basically, actors are like beyond fragile human beings. It's really sad. We all need to like grow a pair and not be so sensitive, but we aren't. we will probably always be the sensitive. So there's that.
Never bring up another actor when they say, hey, could you do it like this person? Because the first thing that runs through my head is, why didn't you just hire that person?
Some of the things that make me uncomfortable as an actor, I had a director that talked to other actors around me. That made me feel real weird. So don't do that. That's just a good rule for life also, really. Because as soon as you start talking about someone behind their back, even if it's like in middle school where you're like, I'm only telling you this, and that makes us best friends. It actually makes you trust the person less and wonder what they're saying about you when you're not there.
We have to, as actors, be able to trust our director and know that that person is somebody that, you know, we want to work for. We believe in their vision. We believe in the project that they're doing, and that mutual trust needs to kind of come back our way. And if you don't trust your actor, you really shouldn't have cast them. You should cast somebody else that you trust or that you really believe in their work and their work ethic.
I worked with a director who's so awesome that even in the rehearsals, when we were going through this, he's doing the smiles. He's smiling with his eyes. He's doing that. Even in the rehearsal. And I'm like, that's awesome, because it helps me talk in a way of like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm not just throwing my charismatic voice into a void. There's an audience, and I need that.
And at one point I was like singing, there was a song in the episode that I had to do and I wasn't quite hitting the note. And I was like, oh, man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm like taking a long time. And he was like, what? This is a cartoon about a singing bee. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. You know, he was like, lower the stakes. And immediately I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then it was so much easier to like actually get to the place that I need to get to with it. I think the most important thing is to have open communication with the people that you're working with. I mean, a lot of times a director and an actor will speak their own language. And the way that a director will talk to me may be completely different than how that same director will talk to a co-star.
And it's the same in real life. You don't talk to your mom the same way you talk to your dad. You don't talk to one best friend in the same way you talk to another one. So
just the more comfortable you make that person, the better performance they're going to give.
If I can feel comfortable with my cast members or directors, or if I'm comfortable on set or feel good in my costume, it goes a long way.
It's always a good idea to just look at your actor and be like, hey, how you doing? What do you need?
Find out, you know, maybe what your actors need. Make sure that they have enough from you. Let your actor know how much time they have until they'll be called upon, but not too much. Like not every minute.
Because that's one of the most stressful things for any position on set is you don't want people to feel like they're waiting for you. So helping your actors not ever get stuck in that situation is amazing. So if they need to go change a costume, if they need to prepare to literally have a cameraman ride them around on like piggyback just to get the shot, it's great. As long as they're okay with it, as long as you talk it through, and as long as everyone's on the same page.
Everything matters, and as an actor, I really hate when someone on set says it doesn't matter. It might not matter to you, but if I'm asking about it, then obviously it matters to me.
Yeah, if I ask a director a question like, hey, what do you think about this, or this character's relationship, or anything, and they're just like,
My fragile little actor heart just like crumbled into a million pieces, and I was like, it's fine.
but I'm a sensitive little flower child, and I need you to have my back and know that you're going to help me look good on this thing. So even if you don't know, maybe say, oh my God, we're gonna make you look great. You're going to be, everyone's going to love you. You're so beautiful and pretty. We're also pretty. That's the other thing. Remind us that a lot.
I was just going to say, every actor despises line reads, and we all hate them. But I've met a few friends who actually really like it. If I'm not, their thought is, if I'm not doing it right, and you know the way to do it right, just tell me and I'll do it. It's easy, and so some actors actually like line reads. Me personally, I hate them.
Definitely something that drives me insane, which I'm sure has been mentioned already, is line readings. Line readings make me insane. Say I'm saying like, the dog walked across the street. No, say it like I'm saying it. So, the dog. So you're like, okay. The dog walked across. No, see, you didn't say it right. You didn't say it. That wasn't the way you. And it's like, oh wow, I'm an idiot actor and I don't know how to mimic you. Just give me the intention that you want me. Like, just give me the motivation throughout it. Don't just like. So anyway, that is clearly a pet peeve of mine. Don't give line readings. Just don't do it.
you should be bringing an actor in so that they surprise you a little bit, or so that you're getting something out of them that that will be additive to the process, rather than just being like, I want to be like a puppet. I just want to put my hand up your butt and just make you talk. You know, there should be some sort of collaboration there.
Yeah, exactly. Never make someone copy something. You don't. It's just not going to be as good as the original. It's like you Xerox your face in the machine. It's not going to look like your face on the other side. It's going to look like it, but it's going to be kind of funky. So you want to make it genuine to the person delivering the line.
If you're indecisive as a director, I start getting nervous, because then it's like, I don't know, you don't know what you want, so I don't exactly know how to give you what you want.
Okay, I really liked it. Let's do one more, and then just like completely different. It bothers me when a director doesn't want to talk about the role with me or the script.
If a producer is giving you a note as an actor, you should immediately have sirens going off and be like, do I need to listen to you? And if I do, why am I listening to you? Because you are better than the director, and usually, in most cases, you want to just listen to the director.
And if it's the wrong direction, you can be like, that was wrong, what you did was better, let's go back to, you know, like, just make a choice, and then afterward, if it wasn't the right choice, you can be like, nah, it didn't work, that's fine, let's move on to this other thing. So there's like an element of like, just make the decision, be confident about it. If it was the wrong decision, that's fine, you could do another take, but like, don't just, you know, it's not deer in headlights time, you have to be like, okay, I want to do this. I think brevity in direction is really useful, just because the worst thing you can do for like, if your scene is like, oh, your character is crying, your actor is crying, or like something really traumatic just happened, keep your direction brief and be gentle, because they're in a space, like they went to a place. You have to be mindful of that, and if you start talking their ear off, like I have a friend that happened to recently, where he's like, he has to cry for the scene, and the director like started waxing poetic about like different things in the scene, and he was like, no, like we need to, this is limited time offer, we gotta get going, you know?
As you can see, we have a tendency to get worked up and get in the zone. And like, if I'm feeling good about something, I want to keep going.
How you're feeling comedically, you want to stay in that moment, because sometimes they're hard to come by. Speak eloquently, directly, sensitively, and clearly. So it's always nice to hear that you're doing okay, that you're doing a good job. Like, obviously, if you're directing, you're like, you know, you're going around everywhere, you're trying to figure out what's going on, you're trying to take care of everything. But it's always nice if you felt like your actor did a good job to just be like, hey, great take, or like, thanks, that was awesome, or we got it, or whatever, just to feel like you're on track.
Because we need, like I said, constant validation in every way, really. Like, just look in my eyes and tell me I'm pretty and good.
And as a director, you want to make sure that you can talk to actors in a way that encourages them to want to build on a performance and get something that, you know, at the end of the day, everyone is happy with.
And if you can just keep doing that and, like, you know, respect that I've done the work. That's the most important thing for me. Is I think that I've worked with a lot of first-time directors who think that actors just come in and say the lines. And no, we've put in the work. So let's work together to find a way that we can get what you want for your vision. Work for you, bro.
Okay, we're gonna let those cure up after a few.
So when working with them, it's always good to make sure that they feel like they're part of the team and that whatever they're doing is respected, but also appreciated.
Don't make the actor feel bad for feeling vain or insecure, or you want to just make them feel comfortable and natural, and like they can be vulnerable.
When it comes to actors, you need to treat them not as all as one entity. It's not like they're all usually, I'm going to herd you guys all. You guys are all the same. You guys all act the same. I'm going to give you all the same notes. Every single person is different, and the way people take notes is different. Some people will be more sensitive. Some people will be less sensitive. So you just need to make sure that you really know who you're talking to every time you deliver a note or talk to someone.
The best thing you can do is to be decisive, to be confident, to be kind. I think that's really the best stuff that you can do. If you give a bad direction, you can rewind and give a better one. You know, if the day is going crazy, but you're still being nice to people, it will make everyone feel so much better and give you better work. It's just, it kind of just let it just be how you are in life. The most ideal way of being in life is the most ideal way of being a director.
Again, there are no rules, but morally be a nice person.
That should be like lesson number 1 in your life, let alone directing. If you can't treat people like a human being, you should maybe go back to human school. Figure it out.
Yeah, okay, cool. Bye. Love you. Is it even on? Am I just...
So things to never say to an actor.
Yeah, I should preface it with like, what do I know? I mean, I'm wearing Hero of the Storm shirt. I've only done YouTube stuff, so this is like amateur director hour. Here we go.
So things to never say.
Tell an actor. Don't tell an actor that a fat camera. Stop.
How do you say this? Don't not say anything. Don't say anything. Don't not say anything.
Don't just tear them apart.
Don't
for
tell
no
your
reason.
talent, this isn't working.
Yeah.
I can't use any of this.
When you start saying you're doing it wrong and you don't tell them what they're doing wrong, then it ceases to be play. It's like you're slapping them on the wrist or something like that.
Because this is what it's not what it's not to say.
You'll find that all actors are different. So the idea that you can't say anything to an actor, probably not true. Unless like you shouldn't say that to a human being, but even then, well, you could probably say stuff to an actor you can't say to a human being because you're trying to get something.
I'm thinking of very specific pieces of bad direction I have given you for non-usable, result-oriented pieces of direction where I would just scream, be more disgusting. You would say, be more disgusting. I remember I didn't take the time to give you proper direction, and when you weren't giving me what I was looking for to take, I would say, quite frankly, no, no. You know, or you would ask me, how was that, Des? And I would shake my head and go, it is what it is.
Yeah, there were no days ago. Hey, it is what it is. We don't have enough time.
We don't have time. We guess we got to move on. So next scene, and that just breaks your spirit. That doesn't give you constructive criticism to build on.
Yeah, I think in many ways saying that like I'm just not getting it, I can't tell you what it is the opposite of what directing should be. You should definitely know what it is. You should know what you're looking for, and then it should emerge from a dialogue with the actor.
It just becomes short communication. You should be able to talk to them in different ways. You know, just like you talk to your friends differently depending on who you're talking to. You just get to know them.
You are getting the same results over and over again. You need, as a director, to switch up your game and try different techniques. Your actor doesn't know what's inside your head unless you communicate that. So again, you come over, you be quiet, you be polite, you let them know they're doing a great job, and then give them some tweak direction.
So you keep it quiet and you make it difficult.
We're gonna
I also
varnish.
think that's part of that trust thing. That not everyone gets to hear the conversations we have. This is about you and me.
Look at
Safe with me. I'm not gonna blurt out all of your intimacies to an entire crew of 50.
Yeah, I don't like to yell behind camera. Like you know, if you're going to set something that you have these free times, like you have these moments where you can, you know, either look at your side or you can talk to an actor, and I'll take them aside and talk to them, you know, privately. First, I said to them, never be afraid. And that's the only part because a lot of times, like I see guys, they approach the actor like, okay, so I think it's like, I don't want it. I'm not quite sure. It's like, don't be afraid of that. The moment you do that actor's looking at that situation and you're like, okay, well, this person has no idea what they want, and I'm really sure that I'm going to do my thing, and I may just ignore you as a director.
Actors want specific, clear direction. You give them something general and vague, like they'll think to themselves, oh, they'll kind of start directing themselves. Especially if you don't know the precise bit of direction to get what you need. That's perfectly okay. You know, just pull your actor aside and let them know, look, man, this is what the scene's about. This is the emotional core of what we're trying to get, and I'm trying to get you there. Help me help you.
So much of directing and casting and finding the right person. And sometimes you cast somebody who's not a
damn it.
professional actor.
Non-actors. A lot of times people don't know what to do with their hands. The moment the camera's in front of them, it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, I have these hands. What do I do with these hands? You know, make sure, oh, you know what? In that case, you know, make sure that they have something just in their hands. People feel safer and they free up if they have stuff to do. Like, you just make somebody sit there, and all of a sudden they got to act.
Jesus.
You make somebody sit there and you're like, the security guard, like, have a pen and paper. Actually, you know what? Stop it. Next time when it comes in, write the person's name down. Ask them what their name is and actually write it down and make sure your form is correct. And all of a sudden that person's thinking, like a security guard, make sure the form is correct. And even if they don't realize it, like,
You're only hurting yourself as a director when you simply puppeteer an actor. Meaning, like, when you say, like, raise your right eyebrow more. Or, you know, or, like, you're doing too weird of a thing with your mouth. Like, it's literally pretty much puppeteering you being.
like, don't ever say a line read. Not true. Some actors don't mind line reading, and maybe you need a very specific line reading because you're trying to mimic a parody or something. Like you're trying to
say exactly what Dr. Who says. Well, in line reading to explain to them. So they say don't give an actor a line reading. That's not true unless you're a professional voice actor. Or you're doing voice acting, you can give voice actors line reading. Or so I'm told. I've never done that. Don't quote me on that. If you have a person who's nailing it with both the look department and also has the right sort of soul for the part, then when you give them a line reading and you give them a really technical direction, you're losing all that soul part. Meaning, like, you're not giving them agency to be a great actor. You know what I mean? You're just sort of using their face.
We want to do it the way you want us to. So please just inform us.
Ow.
You know, you just gotta kind of handle us with kid gloves. Is the best way to put it.
Kids, you have to be very direct with. Kids, you have to give a line reading very specific because kids are natural sort of imitators. I mean, there's no freaking 8-year-old doesn't have life experience to draw upon. You can't ask. Like, the last time that kid was sad was when you didn't get an extra cookie after dinner. Like, that's not a basis for a dramatic scene. You can't draw upon that. There's no Meisner technique that covers that. So you can just tell the kid, be sad, and then tell them how sad, and use the line reading. That's how you do kids.
The whole thing, like, I'm going to look at you and recite my line, that's the classic child actor performance. But when you actually kind of let what's the word, extemporate, when you let the child improvise and kind of just be that kid, because they already are that character, it's going to be the most natural, believable performance ever.
Oh my god.
Your parents ever tell you to clean your room? Yeah, well, that's what I'm about to tell you, but with your editing projects. Hi, film school. Welcome to this pro tip. I'm Joey Scoma, and I'm going to teach you how to not be such a slob in your editing program. Let's start. All right, editors, your project is your room. And if you have a dirty room, you're not going to be able to find everything. Some people can organize their room with piles and piles of messes, but say you're an assistant editor and you hand someone a pile of your dirty clothes, they're not going to know where your socks are. So you want to make things organized. Your footage is your socks. So when you're organizing your projects, you want to put everything into folders, and that keeps everything in one place. Have a clean room. If everything's in one place, then none of your media will go offline. And when your media goes offline, it's a pain in the ass to try and track down where your missing clothes are. Makes sense, right? Offline. See? Now we're in school. You don't want that. Don't have it scattered all over the place. Don't just save things to the desktop. It'll start piling up all over the place. Keep your room clean. You're going to start your project. You go file new project. Boom, you got a new project. And you start bringing things in. You're going to bring in all your footage. You're going to bring in all your audio. Great. Everything's imported. Okay, now let's start editing. Wrong! You might be asking yourself, why can't I start editing? Now you have to start organizing things inside your project. So you start making things. Also, then there's folders. And you store everything where it is. Setting up your project is everything because it might take a second to do it, but it'll save you time in the end. As you import new things, say I need a shot from Dawn of Day. I find that shot, make a new folder for clips, and you just start keeping your things organized. Did I say this? This is a folder, and that's footage in the folder. Inside here, you're probably going to have some B-roll. Within the B-roll, you might have more B-roll that's just you got to sort through. So to make life easier, you say, oh, let's just say this is just the DG2 studio. This is everything inside Vince's Russell studio. Now I know where to find it.
He'll begin right now by putting his jacket and cap away where they belong. Then he'll know just where to find them tomorrow morning. That's another one of his responsibilities.
So you're organized, look at that, that's great. You organize here, but then once you finally have a cut of your project, you want to organize your timeline. What Freddie likes to do, and I've just adopted this method, is once you have a picture lock and you're happy with that cut, you bring everything down to the bottom track. That keeps the timeline nice and good. We'll probably do another video on timeline stuff, so we'll get into this later. Now once you have an assembly, I like to duplicate my sequence. That way I can always go back to any footage and I can tell my cut. If you're like, oh, I don't like this edit, I like how it was before, you can go back. You don't have to delete anything. To do that, good. Now, once you're done with your freaking project inside your timeline, guess what? You start exporting different versions of it. You have a rough cut, you have a final cut. Where are those all going to go to? You guessed it, you're going to make a folder to export it to. When you export cuts, put them in, like, back where you found it. But make a new place to find it. And date everything. Put a date on it. That way you can find the most recent version. title everything the same, you're screwed. I feel like I'm the guy in Ancient Aliens just trying to get people to believe. You know, hey, there's flying saucers around. Trust me. Clean your room, Old Testament.
Instructions were given. Whatever you do, don't look back.
If you made it with me this far, all I have to say is everyone has a different method, but just stay consistent. You know, if you don't want to call your folder footage and you want to call it media, great. Put everything in a media folder. If you're doing this to your own projects, you're making your own projects, then you must know what it's like to have media go offline. You've learned from that, hopefully, you keep everything in one place. Thanks for listening. And now start it.
And for sensational looks, she was next to Chris. And in today's video, we're going to go over 13 gorgeous 90s fixings we never could forget. Where are they now? Explain. If you've grown up through the 90s, you certainly
Okay, so I got their cloth built up to a good point. I just need to let it cure before I can do anything else to it. But their robes now look like robes, except for this guy, because his robes are supposed to be brown. So those are fine. So once that fully dries, I'll wash it later, and that'll be that. The varnish on the Marines looks like it's good and cured, so this is fine. So yeah, this is he's done. So while there is obviously always more that can be done, I feel pretty good about this for now. So what I'm going to do is wash their robes tonight, and then tomorrow I'll just do a little detail work for, I don't know, maybe an hour, and that will be that. So I'm going to leave a couple minutes early to give me some time to wash the robes later, and yeah.